Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Every Second Counts podcast with Tom and Matt. Unfortunately, we're having technical difficulties with Matt, um, with his situation he's dealing with right now. So currently, just in the studio, my guest for today. I'm excited. He's my only return guest so far, so that's highly exciting. Is
Hell yeah.
the creator and CEO of HeroStock, Mr. Jason Steiner. Welcome to the podcast, brother.
What's going on, Tom?
Man, I've been excited. It's weird. It was weird, trying to get that invite because we talk more and more frequently.
Right,
So it
right,
becomes like, hey, you want to come on the show so we talk about everything we talked on the phone?
right. Exactly. It doesn't translate to your listeners when we're just talking on the phone, though.
I'll just go live next time. We'll FaceTime.
Perfect. Love it. Love it.
So
That
we are
works.
getting close. We are getting close to HeroStock.
23 days.
23 days, September 9th, Ashland, Nebraska. HeroStock 2023, the second annual event. What can we expect? Because I know there's been a difference and more things, and it's been hectic and adding sponsors and trying to reach out and do all these things. How do you
So,
expect how do you expect it to be this time versus last time, where last time you had no time, this time you have too much time? how do you ex-
right.
how do you expect it just to roll off this time?
Well, here's the deal, man. I know going into this, we're going to have hiccups, but I want to make it to where nobody else knows it but me and my board. Because putting something together, there's a lot of moving pieces. And this year it's like, we've got the Ruck March, we've got the motorcycle ride, we've got the Silky Hike, we've got Bravo Zulu jumping in with a American flag, we've got the cornholes back, we've got more bands, we've got, just so many different things happening this year that we didn't even have last year. Um,
Absolutely, and that's
so
hard to come back and do it again
it is.
and add more.
Right, right, right. Well, and last year it was supposed to be a one-off, one-night deal and never again. So now we've got
Mhm.
this where it's coming back. It's making the second year. There's a lot of hype around it this year. We've added Scotty Hastings as far as one of our bands. He actually just did a Instagram reel tonight talking about him coming up and playing.
Oh, absolutely.
Dylan
I
Bloom.
shared that.
Yeah, it was super cool, man. He sent it to me. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. So, I
Absolutely.
threw it out. Um, so we've got him coming in, we've got Dylan Bloom coming in, we've got Guitars for Vets, which is a super cool group out of Omaha. They're a national chapter. Sorry, I'm driving to an event right now too. So they're a national chapter, but they've got a chapter right here in Omaha. And
Okay.
it's super cool to have them guys coming in too and being one of our vendors and one of our singers. So it's just, there's so many pieces that got added. Last year we had 12 vendors. I think this year we've got 47 or 48 vendors that are coming in. We've got 13 podcasts coming in, 3 that are doing full live streams of the event. We've got the other 10 that are going to be doing lives from the event. It's just, there's there's so many pieces this year of moving parts, and it's like the stress level starts going up. I'm starting to kind of feel it on my end right now, going, okay, we got all of our ducks in a row, and making sure that this thing is going to come off and be the best event that we can put on. Um,
Absolutely.
you're coming up from Arkansas. We've got Eric Mello coming in from California. We got Brian Roof coming in from California. Rick Yee's coming in from Illinois. I think these fucking feelings are coming in from New York. So we've got people eyes on from all over the United States watching what we're doing, and puts a little bit of extra added pressure on. But
Don's
at the
coming,
end of the
right?
day, yeah, Donald's coming in from Missouri.
Yep, yep.
We've got Jonathan coming in from Louisiana,
I
from
don't
Bourbon Battle Buddies.
I shouldn't have said anything because I'm gonna have you just list everyone that's just gonna be there.
Right, right. Well, and
That's a
and
good that's a
now,
positive thing
oh,
because
dude, it's awesome.
because out of like I guess the best part for me is it's all new to me and it's all new to a bunch of other people. So
Right.
everyone's the second event is really like a great first event for a lot of people because we're meeting for the first time and then that's how you grow and then you're able to do things. Well, I lost him for a second. But again, HeroStock, Ashland, Nebraska, between Omaha and Lincoln, September 9th. If you're trying to get a hotel, if you're trying to go out there, if you're trying to see it, um, active duty, veterans, first responders, and then you have, oh, excuse me, let me get them back on here, and Gold Star
There we go.
families. I'm just saying who's allowed in, free entrance. So you have veterans, active duty, Gold Star families, first responders.
Yep.
Does that cover it
You
pretty
know,
much?
you did, and this year we're not technically open to the public, but if public shows up and they want to see what we're doing, come on in and check it out. I want to show everybody what we're doing. And next year we're going to open it up to the public, and it's going to be bigger. It's going to be probably a 2-day event this next year. So we're going to open it up to the public, and public shows up this year. Come on in, come see what we're doing. And it's I want them to understand why we're doing it. We can talk about it, and we can this, that, and another. What's going on in the veteran community and the first responder community, but until you actually get to see what we're doing, it's hard to explain everything. Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, like you said, over 40 vendors, if that's not the best kind of connection, melting pot of veterans, nonprofits, intermixed with musicians and just that whole community thriving within one special day, it's a pretty epic feat to pull off.
right, right, yeah, and the crazy thing is we've got people coming in from like 18 or 16 states right now that I know of. And this is year two, so
Hmm.
that's pretty epic just in itself. That we're getting that kind of response, that people want to be that involved with what we're doing, and so that's pretty cool just on that side of it, to be able to go, we've got this many people coming in to see what we're doing. um I'm happy with that alone.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I Go ahead.
no, I'm so excited to be able to meet all these different people that are coming in from all these different states to hang out with us and see what we're doing, and kind of show off what we're doing, and make this thing just huge,
Oh,
for
absolutely.
the upcoming years, and bring all these people together. Because I had somebody the other day that was like, you're taking a group of people that hate being around people, and you're putting 2, 3, 4,000 people together that hate being around people.
Yeah,
And
I'll tell you what, like, it's funny you say that because of our conversation yesterday.
right,
I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." I don't like being around 5 people, let alone thousands. But but, what I think it's the anxiety and the excitement to where it's like you're going anyway. It's
Right,
not like something you wanna get out of, you know what I mean? It's something
right.
you wanna get into because who doesn't you see all these weirdos, right? There's enough weirdos out there. We might as well get together. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
We're
Yeah, yeah,
our
yeah.
own breed. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So while we're being our own weirdos, we might as well just be together in a field getting weird.
And that's what's gonna happen. We're just gonna get weird. No, man, it's grown so much. Like we have Lori coming in from North Carolina with Trees of Valor. I mean, that's super cool. You get somebody coming in that has to drive basically a full day to get here just to be a part of it.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
know, and it's just amazing. Like when you really start thinking about what has happened in just 1 year, um, it really makes me excited to see where this thing's going to go in 2 years and 3 years and 5 years. And, as we get down the road with it and I did get confirmation, I believe, with one of the special guests, but I'm still not going to drop the name because you have to come to HeroStock to find out who it is.
Am I excited about it?
You'll be excited about it. I think everybody will be excited about it. It's going to add a really cool piece to what we're doing this year. Um,
Absolutely.
so yeah, what's up, Mr. Roof?
Oh, there we go. Look at
so
us
so
all
yeah, man.
heroes stocked out. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I just noticed that we're just sitting here doing our thing. For
Yeah,
those
man.
lucky people watching on Facebook and YouTube right now, you get to see the full Hero Stock apparel line.
Right, right.
Hats and
Yeah.
different
Well,
stuff.
and I was literally picking up apparel right before I got on this call. So we have apparel in for the event this year. I'm gonna show it off a little bit tonight at this event that I'm going to. So there'll be a little bit of pre-taste before the event. Um, so yeah, man, it's it's super cool. As I sit back and I look at it and I think about what we did last year, 45 days from the day of the idea to the day of the event, 100 people showed up. It was a great time. To this year where we've had months to plan it and, turn it into its own organization, its own 501c3, getting the hype behind it with all the podcasters, because I think this is, if I count my repeats, I think I'm on like 23 right now since April. So to be able to hype it on these podcasts and then have all these podcasters coming in, that they want to see it, they want to be there, they want to touch it, feel it, smell it. It's it's super cool to me to be able to see that.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think one thing that you're like you said, you've been on every podcast in the world talking about Hero Stock, but I think one thing that I really just noticed thinking about it, it has nothing to do with you. We spoke on that before, but
yep,
it's the future of these musicians that are able to come play at Hero Stock and be seen and show off their talents, and that's where those moments of that give back. So,
right,
people when it's open to the public and it's a gift for veterans.
yep,
I see Scotty's gonna be there. That's like a gift. We get to go see him. You know what I mean? And
right,
it's like when you
right,
when you when you get to do all that, that's a separate kind of feeling
right,
because
right,
when you just put yourself outside the situation, you're the main guy now, but you're not always gonna be the main focus. It's gonna be just Hero Stock.
right, right.
And
And that's
with
what I want.
mhm.
I don't want me to be the main focus because that's not what it is. I'm the talking head right now to tell everybody about what we're doing, but I want Hero Stock to be the thing that everybody remembers. I don't care if they remember my name. I want everybody to go, I'm going to Hero Stock next year because that is a cool event
I heard
and they're
Tom
doing
does cool
great
stuff
things.
backstage.
Right? No doubt, no doubt. Well, and we got so Barbara Sim she's committed. She's coming.
Oh,
So
that's
Barbara Sim will
exciting.
actually be there too. So we might have to talk to a couple of the bands and see if we can throw her on stage for a couple songs, and let her play a little bit too. And I was actually on Joe Allen Christie's live on TikTok, and he was just on there playing, which he does a lot. And we were talking about the event, and he's like, "Man," he goes, "that's right in the middle of hunting season for me." He goes, "If I tag out early, I'm coming." So Joe Allen Christie may just show up this year.
And
Um,
that's amazing. He does go on TikTok, and when he just kicks his live, there's some diamonds in there. When he's just
right?
sitting there just playing, it's just like you could just get your own little concert just watching.
Yep, yep, yeah. And there was, I was on a podcast the other night, and Die Tired was on there. It's a band I'd never heard of. They're a little bit heavier, um, and they were on there, and they played a song, and I'm like, what the? How do we not know about these veteran musicians? Because they are amazing. Um, it's the Barbara Sims, the Schaefer Mueller, Scotty Hastings, Joe Allen Christie, Scotty Frazier. I mean, I could continue to name 100 more of them. But it's like, how are these guys and gals not mainstream? Because they are truly just flat out amazing. And that's kind of where Hero Stock's headed to, is to be able to highlight these veteran singers. As we go down this road, I'm looking to grab, one big headliner, the Kid Rocks, the Toby Keiths, those type of headliners. And I want them to be on stage at the end, but I want to be able to showcase 5 veteran singers or first responder bands, singers, whatever, as the opening acts, and put them in front of 20,000 people so people can go, "Holy shit, this guy's really good," or "Man, Barbara's amazing. I want to listen to her music." And now they're starting to get the downloads, and they're starting to grab those crowds that, they might not have seen. And that's kind of the future of Hero Stock right now, is kind of the road we're headed down. And I want to be able to give back to the veterans and the first responders that have given their time to our country. Um, and then on top of that, I want to bring in these great nonprofits, from all around the country, and showcase these amazing nonprofits that are there for our veterans, that are there for our first responders, that are there for our Gold Star families, and give them that place that they can go, where they're back in with camaraderie. They got that family feel that they want to engage with these nonprofits and help them grow, because it's helped them through the dark times, or it gave them that place that they could talk about stuff that they had went through, that they can't talk about with anybody else. And that's kind of the key to what we're doing, man. We're the networking side of it. That's Hero Stock is a huge piece of it, is networking. And we've seen it through the podcast, with you and Contagion and Two Drunk Dudes, Shadow Mark, all these different
Mhm.
podcasts. We got a group chat on the side that nobody knows about, and I find a singer and I shoot it out into the group, and Donald picks them up for the radio station. We Semper Fly, the ladies down in Oklahoma, the Marines down there that do the helicopter tours. They're going to be on Brian Roof's show. I found them through Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, you guys need to reach out to these ladies, man. They're doing great things."
We spoke
And
on that, yeah, and I remember I went to I think Instagram immediately
yep,
and was like,
yep,
"Holy smokes," because it didn't look like your typical, and then, you gotta read it, and I was like, "Holy smokes." It's
yeah, yeah,
like, I think the biggest thing for me is, and I get excited about it, is the simple fact of all these different nonprofits that no one knows nothing about.
yep,
Like, they don't know that every veteran's scared to pay a dollar. Let's just admit it. You're not trying to spend no money. But when you see
right,
these cool things like, you know, um, you can go hunting, you went out, you went fishing, you could do these horseback riding, you could do or things at home. And
right,
when you don't if it's not word to mouth, and if we don't get this community bigger and bigger, that it stays where it is, and it
Right.
doesn't help
Right.
nobody.
Right.
So
Well, and
I
think about
think
it.
you did a
Think
great
about when you
job.
got out.
Hmm.
You got out of the military. What did you know of? You knew of the VFW, you knew of the Legion, you knew of Wounded Warrior Project, Tunnels to Towers, like of all these huge national, type deals. And
Hmm.
they have their place, right? But your small grassroots nonprofits are going to be the ones where your local people are going to benefit greatly because they're with those people every day, or once a week or once a month, whenever they meet. They get to be in that family situation
Hmm.
where you've got brothers and sisters standing right beside you that's been through the same bullshit you've been through, whether it was just boot camp or overseas serving in the desert. They're You can talk to these people because they understand. um and the Legion doesn't fit everybody, and the VFW doesn't fit everybody, and HeroStock might not fit everybody. But guess what? I got a group that does motorcycles. I've got a group that does hunting. I've got a group that does fishing. I've got a group that has equine therapy. I've got a group that does goat yoga. I mean,
Hmm.
and as I've grown this, or as we've grown this, like I've found nonprofits I had no clue existed, and they were literally in my backyard.
Oh,
And it's
absolutely.
like, and they're still coming out of the woodwork. I'm packed completely full on vendors this year, and I'm already starting to book for next year because people are calling, going, "Man, we want to come to HeroStock this year." Well, you can come, but you can't set up a table because we're flat out maxed out. There's no room left. Um, so next year we're already booking vendors for 2024
And
because
that's such a blessing, just because it's the momentum's already, you're already getting that overlap.
yep,
Like when
yep,
someone sends out those tour dates, you already know
right,
where it's like, so you already know, and it's like you're already planning your meetings. Because I'll
yep,
tell you what, the
yep,
VFWs around here are dark. Son, they are
right,
dark. There's maybe 1 or 2 cars in there,
yep. And your
and it's
legions are
just
basically the same way. What's up, Thompson?
eh,
But yeah, I mean, and it is like your legions and your VFWs. There's a handful of them that do some really good
mhm,
stuff, and they're out in the community and they're out pushing the veteran world. But there's a lot of them that are going by the wayside because a
and
lot of them don't do anything.
and I was just gonna say, instead I'm not sitting here complaining about it because it was dark. There was 1 car in there, and I think it's BYOB or now, and whatever the situation is, it's not the popular place to go no more because more veterans now are more isolated.
Right,
Like we were talking earlier, we don't wanna be in big groups. We don't wanna be with other branches. If some people are like that. You don't wanna be with certain kind of people or around anybody. So to
right,
go to a place on purpose to meet a lot of people, it doesn't seem so enticing no more. You know what I mean? Like
right,
at the local level, like to go
right.
down the street to the VFW or whatever,
Sure.
but Hero stock. So you have musicians coming. You're having all these great vendors coming. Tell me about the other 2 events. You said the Silkies run
Yep.
and
So
the Ruck.
yep, yep. So we've got Ruck It Up for Warriors, which is Scott Fredenberg. Um, he is actually doing a ruck march, which is just a leisure march. I think it's 12 miles long. And then he's also doing a ruck battle. So it's a 4-man team. It's 4 miles walking, 2 miles running, 2 miles running, 4 miles walking, and they'll end at HeroStock.
Is there a load for
Um,
that?
I think I think you can. I think you can do the 22 pounds or the 22 kilograms, whatever it is. But you don't have to. I think for the battle, you have to. I think you have to actually load up your ruck, or
Mhm.
wear a plated vest. Um, so he's doing that. Um, he's an amazing dude. Like he started his nonprofit about a year ago. Um, he's pushed really hard to get people involved with the rucks, to bring the camaraderie, that family feeling, and that kind of stuff. And Scott's just an amazing dude. Like he's pushed really hard with his nonprofit, and he's done great things with it.
Yeah, he's coming on right after HeroStock,
Oh,
which
cool,
was
awesome.
exciting because when he responded, I saw when he was going to come on. I was excited because I was like, man, I'm already going to break bread. Like we're going to
Right?
have stories of HeroStock on top of things. So I was like, oh, I was highly excited about it.
Yeah, that's super cool. Super cool. Yeah, and then IW is going to be there, the Reverend Warriors, and they're a national chapter, and but the Nebraska chapters actually they plan their Selkie hike around HeroStock.
Oh
So
wow.
they're going to do, yeah, I think they're doing 9 or 10 miles, something like that. They haven't actually got their route completely done yet. But they're just going to do their regular Silky hike. There's going to be a stop at the Space and Air Command Museum, the SAC Museum, which is right down the road from Round the Bend. So they'll have a stop there, hang out, and then they'll finish up the Silky hike and end up back at HeroStock.
Oh,
Um,
that's good.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it turned out really cool that they could both end up working together and doing this. Um, because that's what it's about. We're all fighting the same battle, so how about we all work together? It's
Yeah,
not just your nonprofit that's going to save everybody, man. We've got to pull together and work together as one unit and try to curb this number that we've got going on right now.
yeah, because like you said, you got all these different people that might have different needs that need that different therapeutic feeling.
Yep.
So, you have but vendors coming together, these nonprofits, the difference I think, and I saw this video, and this isn't, I'm not shitting on nobody with this, but the bigger nonprofits aren't 100%.
Right.
Like a lot of our mine, and everyone else is the one you're forming, Scott's, everyone else's that have them is for the veterans. It's for the
Right.
purpose of the nonprofit. So
Yep.
that's the best, you know what I mean? That means the most the energy is focused on the veteran. It's not about
Right.
getting the bread. It's not about, whatever I get, how much money can I pinch? It's like
Right.
how much service can I give? Or
Right.
that's the way I look at it. I mean, you're behind the scenes, so you know what I have 10-year plans. And and
Sure.
and 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 the way you can get excited about in a conversation like when we have it, it's just how can we help? How can we help? What else can we
Yep.
do? And then you just start brainstorming, well, I know this guy, I know that guy. And I think that's the greatest part because as I always say on my Instagram, veterans are only going to say veterans. No one else
Right.
gives a shit. And we are the only ones. You
Right.
could just
Right.
see from watching, I don't care what news you watch, but you could just watch it over 22 veterans commit suicide a day. You don't see it on the news.
Yep.
You don't see it, but you see all the other nonsense. So that's
Yep.
why having these nonprofits working together and really HeroStock being the hub now in the Midwest. I don't know where you're at. I know where you're at, but it's is it Midwest still?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Well, I'm coming from the middle of nowhere, so Midwest. I always knew Northeast, but so
Right. Right.
when you're like the hub. You've been like the magnet. So the way I've perceived you since we broke bread and you came on and we developed a friendship and you're on the board of Syrup 22. You're able to now sit there and see like all these things you're doing and all these podcasts you're on. You're not promoting yourself. You're not really promoting Hero Stock. You're
Right.
sharing all these other nonprofits that are actually integrating with each other now
Right.
because I
Right.
see you're on this podcast or you're on this guy's thing. So if they share it or you share it, I'm gonna go if I've never seen them or I don't know them, I'm gonna go like their page and then see what they're about because if you're with them, I'm with them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think
Right.
that's the community around. Like there's no real competition, like you said. It's like I said, you're like the melting pot hub of these
Yep.
these amazing nonprofits.
Yeah. And it was never meant to be that. Like it was meant to just be a concert night for everybody to hang out, and it's really kind of turned into that where
Mm-hmm.
we're lining different groups up together to where we're actually October 7th. We're going to be heading out to Scotts Bluff, Nebraska, or Mitchell, Nebraska. Deuce Outfitters Ministry. They just unveiled their new property that they're going to have for equine therapy. So us and Wheels for Warriors USA are going to go out to Scotts Bluff to support them and talk about our programs out there, so that people in Western Nebraska can understand that there's more than just Deuce. Like there's all these other nonprofits too, and what they're doing is great things with their hunting program, and now they're adding this equine therapy. And I want to get behind the good nonprofits. That's one of the biggest things that I'm trying to do is vet any of the nonprofits that are coming in, because if you're a turd, I'm not going to have you at my event.
Yeah.
You've got to be, what you say and what you do has to line up, because if that's not the way you roll, you're not part of HeroStock, because I'm not taking the chance of putting a veteran or a first responder with the group that lies or deceives or whatever it is. You've got to be stand up in
Hell
what you're
yeah.
doing, and you got to follow through with what you're saying, or you're not going to be part of it.
Yeah,
And
if you got into it, you better come in with something. You better
right,
have
right,
positive energy. You better, purpose. And we
yep,
spoke on that a lot. Like like the purpose you have, it's instilled in you. You're doing
right,
this because this is what you do now.
yep,
Obviously, you do a
yep,
lot more, but this is a passion of
right,
it's not a job kind of thing. This is
right,
that,
right,
you never work a day in your life.
yep,
Not if you're trying to save lives, not if you're trying to, you're doing an amazing thing that I see differently than other people. Just for
right,
the simple fact because I look back at everything and just seeing how everything's gonna meet. And if the
yep,
progression of it, that's more vets coming, connecting with more nonprofits and more people healing and more of that, stigma getting out there that, you know what, we can help each other and we can, you know, look look out for each other because I think that's the
right,
biggest problem because we're the only people that can help each other.
right, right. Well, and then on the flip side of that, you got your first responders. You know,
Mhm.
you go on and look and try to find a small nonprofit for a first responder for a fire that they're pulling burning bodies out of buildings. They're dealing with decapitated people. They see some of the most gruesome stuff day out. They're seeing that crap every day,
Mhm.
and there are no nonprofits for them out there. So that was a piece of why we included them this year, because you're starting to see, there's already a crossover. There's already a lot of military that is in the first responder field. Um, but
Well,
we're
I think
crossing that line. You're a cop, but hey, we're rucking. Let's go. Hop in with us.
mhm.
Hey, you want to ride motorcycles? Come jump in with our group. So it's cool to see that side of it too, where now we're starting to understand that it's not just veterans that are struggling. It's our first responders. And our Gold Star families. They struggle every day. They gave a loved one, husband, brother, sister, mother, whatever it was, for us to be able to lay our head on the pillow every night and not have to worry about the wolf at the door.
Yeah, because someone's not at home right now, either
Right.
deployed, working, because especially like, what was that, Minnesota? Oh, the whole department just quit, and the chief you could hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Sorry.
So I believe it was
I've got phone
Minnesota.
calls coming in as we're talking.
I think it was Minnesota, the whole police force just went up and quit, and the
Right.
chief I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but I believe
I
and
think you're
it's
right.
like and like, they're like, "Oh, we'll deal with it as a community." And I think the difference is everyone that's taken shit over time, that's given time, like, that served, is getting
Yep.
fed up of
Yeah.
like, hey, you know what? We're if we're the only ones that are going to care, if we're the only ones that are going to do it, we're doing it together.
Right.
And I think
Yep.
it's good that, like you said, we're seeing because like people don't see veteran suicide because they're not
Right.
involved in it.
Right.
They don't see the first responders, what EMTs see, what firefighters see, what the police see
Yep.
every friggin' day on the TV about other police. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like it's a constant, like you said, who do they talk to?
Right.
There's no and it's just like the Marine Corps because you're a Marine, if you're a cop, it's very hard for you to not work because you have issues or you know what
Yep.
I mean? You just want to
Yep.
suck it up and keep it moving. And
Right.
then overtime and working and then so I see that contrast of just when you put it like that, you look at and you analyze the situation, it's like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
It
Well, just
opens
like the military, you
mhm,
can't be the broken one, right? If you're the
mhm.
broken one, you get put in a special platoon, or you get moved to this area, or you get pulled out of what you're doing. It's the same for fire and police. I was working a poker run for CVMA, the local CVMA chapter out of Lincoln, and HeroStock was set up, and we're running this stop for them, and this guy comes walking in, and he kind of singles me out. And I get up and I kind of step off to the side with him, and we're talking, and he was like, "Bro," he goes, "I about ended it, man." And I've never met this guy, and we just
Mhm.
start talking, and he's like, "I was literally sitting in my bathtub with my loaded 45 on the side of it," and he goes, "I'd shut off my phone, and the only thing that saved me was another fireman, his one of his partners, kept trying to call him, and he couldn't get a hold of him, and he ended up breaking into his house and walked into the bathroom and found him with a gun laying on the side of the tub." He goes, "If he'd have walked in 2 minutes later, he'd have walked into a bloodbath."
That's
He's like, "I
incredible.
was that close," but he couldn't talk to anybody, because if he took it to his chief or took it to any, his union, whatever, then he can't be a firefighter anymore,
Mhm.
because he's got these issues that he has to work through. So, and that's just the way it is. You're looked upon as broken. Well, guess what? Now you're at desk duty, or you've got to take a leave of absence to clear your mind or whatever it is. There's no place for them to go, really, to just be themselves.
And I think the problem
And
is, like how you explained it, we still live in pre-COVID times. Like how
right,
you're explaining it, these people that work through it, these towns that, they lose police, they defunded the police or whatever the case is, they might not be able to get that break.
right,
You know what I mean? Like, even if they're trying to, it's like
yep,
because you can get fired, and that's the
yep,
hard part. That's the hard part, coming from the military, unless you're a complete ass bag, you know what I mean? In the in
right,
the in that public sector, you're in the public and you can get fired and
yep,
you're not getting paid the most. You know what I mean?
right,
You're a public servant and you're not getting paid a lot and you don't have the opportunities the military does have.
right, right. Yeah, and you lose everything, right, by speaking up
Mhm.
and saying, "Hey, man, that call really jacked me up." You do that. Guess what? You no longer are a firefighter because you can't handle your job, or you're no longer a cop because you can't handle your job.
Or you completely
And
doubt yourself from there on out, or, if you
right,
lost a partner, a loved one, someone you worked with, it's rough.
yeah, yeah, it's so with these nonprofits stepping up and adding that to their piece and saying, you know what, it's not just veterans, it's first responders, it's the doctors and nurses, it doesn't matter who it is, man. If you see
Mhm.
trauma day in and day out, you've got to have that place where you can go to. And this firefighter, I never met him, and he literally unloaded, and dude was crying. I was talking to him, he was wiping tears.
That's beautiful.
And he, big burly freaking firefighter, and he needed somebody to talk to, and I happened to be there. And we connected, and we talked it out, and I think he's actually going to come up to HeroStock this year.
And that's the cool
Um,
thing because the way you handled it.
right,
Because if we don't have that, we ain't gone through the fire, it's kind of hard to receive the fire
right,
from somebody
yep,
because you've already been burnt. So you already
right,
know like that feeling and you can progress that conversation and it's relevant back and forth.
right, right. Yeah, and it was cool, man. It was a great moment, and it's really stuck with me since then. That we had that moment where he felt like I was the one that he could talk to, and he told me about a couple of his buddies that ended up taking their lives. Because they didn't have that person that they felt like they could talk to. Because you don't talk to your buddy, right? You're not going to call your buddy and go, dude, I'm having a really bad day. I'm thinking about doing this, because you don't want to unload that on your buddy. But you're going to find somebody that understands, but's not going to judge you because they're not your friend, right? Or not
Mhm.
your close friend or buddy or somebody that you know really well. And that's what happened that day, and it was awesome that he felt like he could do that with me and actually tell me the story and relive that moment where he was at his darkest point. And
So I have to cut you off. I know we're here for hero stock, but I need to know what was that like for everyone watching or listening because that on some for real shit, that's like to me, that's the real. That's what people don't
right,
get. Like it's hard to express it, but it's hard to take it in too
right.
because you're sitting there with someone like, holy smokes, like this. Why me? Why is he telling me? Or whatever. How'd that feel? Like being on the other side.
It was, for me, it was awesome. Like it was tough to hear it, because you're looking at this dude going, man, this guy is a big dude. He's super nice. The, came in with a smile on his face. Where we were at, it was kind of cool because we kind of separated ourselves, so we didn't have
Mhm,
eyes on. So it was literally just that kind of that intimate moment where it was just me and him, right? The rest of the bar was kind of blocked out, and it felt good to me to be able to be that person that he could be there for. But at the same time, it really hit deep, and it was like, this dude, 2 years ago, he may not have been here. We may not have had this conversation,
mhm,
and to be that sounding board for him, and know that he needed to talk about it, and to be able to be that person that he was talking to. It was weird for me, because I was like, why, again, why me? Why are you telling me this?
mhm.
We literally just met 2 minutes ago. But at the same time, it made me realize that I was there for a reason.
Absolutely.
We did the poker run for a reason, and there is nothing that happens in this world by chance. I
Mm-mm.
believe everything is set forth for a reason, and I'm doing HeroStock for a reason, and we were at that place for a reason. And I've been introduced to amazing people, for a reason. You know, it's it was cool. It was cool to be that person that he could talk to. Um, but it also made me kind of kick back after he left. I kind of stopped for a minute and went, "Wow, that was really powerful." And really take in that moment and understand what really just happened and why he unloaded on me.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely, because that takes so much on both sides to have a
right,
great conversation like that, and then it still be positive,
right,
because he probably felt a
yep,
hell of a lot better letting it out.
sure,
Because probably not that many people know about it, you know what I mean? So,
right,
like, he's like, "Let me tell this guy, he looked like someone I could tell.
right, right.
He looks like an angel. Li he looks like an angel over there."
That's just the beard, man. It's just the beard, I swear. He looks like the mayor of Heroesville, as
Yeah,
Ace
that's
would
him.
say. But yeah, man, it was so cool. It was, and I run into those situations quite often, like where I don't know why, but people will talk to me about stuff, and I hope that I can always be that one to be there. If somebody has that point in time where they have to talk, and my phone's always on. Call me, except for when my daughter's calling and I'm in the middle of a podcast. Then
Yes,
I don't answer
Prince.
and she cusses me out. But yeah, man, it's I want to be that person that is always there for somebody,
Hmm.
and can be that sounding board and that ear and that kind of thing that everybody needs at some point in time. So, but
Absolutely.
HeroStock this year, it's crazy. It's going to be insane. The four bands that we have are amazing. We have a silent auction going on. We've had a ton of people just donate stuff out of the blue. We got a couple trips that got donated, one to Vegas and one where you can pick like 20 different locations and fly to it.
Oh, that's
Um,
amazing. I get
yeah, dude,
excited when I heard you talking to this your video this morning about the motorcycle. I felt like you were talking to me. I was like, I don't have a trailer. I'm not driving out there with a trailer.
right? Do I have to rent a trailer to get it home or
Yeah, like just like the give back on that is huge.
right?
It's like, you know what, you're gonna meet a great bunch of people, see a bunch of cool stuff, and it's I think it's gonna be a huge therapeutic moment for a lot of people that need to de-stress,
Yep.
and I think they'll be able to really just let loose and just enjoy it.
Right, right. Now I'm not going to de-stress until Sunday
Oh,
after I
absolutely.
get Scotty to the airport because he flies out at like 6:30 in the morning on Sunday morning out of Omaha. So we got to get up at like 4 to get there. So I won't
What
de-stress until he's on the plane.
what time does Hero Stock stop?
So right now our
Because you
end
just
time is it's about 11 o'clock. So we may just end up
interesting.
staying up overnight.
It's
Um,
interesting you said that you thought you were gonna get rid of me by 11. I don't know about everyone
right.
else, but you said 4, and I
But
was
I'm
like,
not leaving.
yeah, I was like, I can stay up till 4. You have Uber, right? I done asked you 100
Right.
times, so
Yep. We got Uber. We're good. We're good. We got Uber and Lyft. So, you got your pick.
you have no idea
But
how real that was. Because after moving here, like, now they have Uber Eats, Uber this, and, you don't even have to go to the store no more unless
right.
you live where I live. Then you have to go.
And you
So
have to
there's
drive everywhere because there is no Uber anything.
yeah, if a guy from out here came as the Uber driver, I'm just saying I wouldn't get in the car. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You'd hear the banjos going behind him and the dueling
The only
banjos.
hey man, the only campers around here are meth campers, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
so
That's
we're in the
awesome.
mountains. We're in the mountains. So how much of being on the streets do you think helped you?
As far as planning this and getting it going,
Mhm.
honestly, I'd helped start a nonprofit in 2019. I was one of five guys that started it. We I had been out of the veteran world since 2000. I pushed completely back. I got out of everything. 2019 comes around. They asked me to help start the Nebraska Warriors hockey program, and it was an amazing thing. We did amazing things. We had a great group of people. We had some really bad stuff happen with our board, and it blew our board apart. And honestly, it was, again, nothing happens by chance. Um, a conversation was had that we needed to have an event outside of hockey to where it was just our group hanging out. And that was where the idea for this kind of started. Um,
Mhm.
I had a Marine, Carson Pollard, my neighbor. He came walking down one night and we had a conversation in the front yard. He had a band that wanted to come in and play. And then the next, 2 nights later, he came down again. He goes, I got another band that wants to play. And that was kind of really how this started. I'm a tile guy by trade. So being a promoter, a concert promoter, a event planner, not my wheelhouse. And but the drive after seeing what happened with the other nonprofit pushed me to understand that there's more to the veteran world than one organization.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I focus so hard on bringing all these organizations in that are good, that are doing good things, to be a part of what we're doing and expose them and expose the veterans to and first responders to what we have available to us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge reason why, if you aren't doing your thing right, you're not running it right, you won't be part of this, because I
Mm-hmm.
saw the devastation that happened, by the choice of a person, basically, and ruined a lot of friendships over it. So that was, the drive for me comes from the military. I was the squared away Marine. I made sergeant in 4 years. Um, it taught me that you don't stop until it's finished. You continue
Mm-hmm.
to push on. And so my drive comes from the military, and that's how I handle everything in my life. Is there's no quit. I never quit. I will never quit. And it's
Oh, that's a plus right there. Brian coming through clutch.
right.
He said, "I got you, bro. I'm leaving at 3 myself."
That's awesome. Everybody wants to take Scotty with them, though.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
strange. If you were like, "Yeah, I gotta take the guy that's bringing the porta johns, I gotta take him back to his truck at 4. Anyone wanna help?"
right. Not a. You'd hear crickets, dude. But no, man. It's HeroStock is where I need to be. That's like it has mentally for me. I'm probably in a better place than I've ever been or have been in a long time.
Mhm.
Um, because of the sense of service to me and giving back to the veteran community and giving back to our veterans and first responders is huge. And I've seen the impact with 100 people. I'm curious to see the impact with 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 or 20,000, or you know getting the public involved next year and letting them see what we're doing and what these nonprofits are doing, and making them understand that these are all run off of funds that are donated.
Mhm.
My whole event this year is run off of donations. Well, and what I've spent out of my own pocket, but it is funded by our public to
Mhm.
put this on, and we've got some amazing event, you know, people that have jumped in and been sponsors. Um, and we've got some that are like, we want to be bigger sponsors next year. So, it's we're starting to see that repeat with sponsors and that kind of thing too. So that's really cool too. But we're doing the 0 100 raffle this year, which is something that I kind of dreamed up on my job. And I'd had this conversation with Gunny up in Michigan. I went up and fished with him up in South Haven, Michigan, with Primal Outfitters. And he was like, "Man, I'm like digging in my own pocket to take these guys out on my boat. I love what I'm doing, but boy, it's really strapping me, and it's really hard to do this." And I, next day I was kind of going through the conversation in my head, and I was like, what if we do, instead of a 50-50 raffle where the house takes half of it, let's do 100-0. And that person that we draw their name out of the bucket, they get to pick a nonprofit that was at HeroStock this year to give all this money to. And at this time I was thinking, okay, we're going to have around 1,000 people. If we have 1,000 people, everybody does $10. That's $10,000 we hand a small nonprofit.
Now,
And
who is in charge of this at HeroStock? Is there someone centrally in charge of all the money?
yep, yep. So
Okay,
we'll have one person that's going to be running that.
I just wanna make sure everything's on the up and up, you know what I mean? Keep
Right,
me
right.
away from it.
No, we'll have one person, one trusty person running that. And and it completely changes a nonprofit, right? I mean, you throw 10 grand
Absolutely.
into almost any nonprofit, small nonprofit, that's going to change their scope. Um, $10,000 is basically the whole budget that Gunny was running on
Mhm.
Michigan to take guys out on the boat. and he's running 4, 5, 6 charters a week where he's taking guys out. He's not taking a dime, and he's not asking for anybody to pay anything. Yes, bring the very starched cover, Brian. But he's not asking for anything, right? He's not asking for the pat on the back. He's not asking for anything. He just wants to do this to give back to the community, and
And
he's doing amazing
yeah,
things.
I tell you what, that's the hardest thing. When I went through the Mission 22 recovery program and resiliency and recovery program, and when you go through it, you get to see all these sponsors and everything that everyone else in the world could just go to mission22.com and see it.
Right,
And that's when I first saw the nonprofits. That it's just an explosion. I'm looking, I'm like, I could go here for free. I could go here for
right,
free. But then I felt like an asshole. And like kind of like you were just saying, like, I want to go. I'm a veteran. I
right,
want to. I never went elk hunting or up in Michigan fishing for anything in Michigan. You know,
right,
I've never been to
right.
Michigan, so but it's like you said, you'd wanna give. You
Yep,
for certain people, if you're a veteran, you're going and if you have the capabilities, like you
right.
said, they're the people standing on their own, and
Yep,
that's the scariest part because you only want them to be great.
right, right. Now, when we fished with Gunny, we gave him a HeroStock cup for taking us out, and there may have been a couple $100 in there for fuel. I wanted to pay it forward to the next guy. I'm going on a guided hunt, and we're going to pay it forward. That the next guy that gets to hunt, he can hunt for free.
I'll go after you.
Um, yeah, exactly. Yeah, come up. We'll bring you to Nebraska. We'll put you on some deer. I mean, it's
I'm not mad about that. We'll have to talk.
yeah, exactly. But it's paying it forward, man. If you've
Mhm.
got it, pay it forward, and that's what we ended up doing. And Gunny was actually pissed. He's like, dude, you weren't supposed to. I said, use that money for fuel. Use that money for more tackle. I know how expensive fishing is. I mean, it's not cheap to run a 30-foot boat in Lake Michigan. And
Yeah.
pay for some fuel, pay for some tackle, whatever.
Mhm.
And he's like, I don't take a dime out of it. And that's kind of the same way we are with HeroStock right now. We're not taking a dime out of the organization. This is all volunteer hours. And Wheels for Warriors, it's all volunteer hours. Dom, it's all volunteer hours. And it takes a lot of time. And so for the public, the general public to come in and go, you know what, we want to donate $1,000 towards this, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Even $1,000 changes a lot of things.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, so it's it's going to be exciting to see where this goes. Exciting to see the growth of it. This year is going to be amazing. I've got, like I said, I got 13 different podcasts that I've been on that's coming in. And to be able to actually meet all of you guys and gals face to face, that's super cool to me.
I still feel like I'm gonna
Um,
be sitting on a stool somewhere by myself.
right. No, you won't be by yourself anywhere. I guarantee that. We'll drag you into the party. Um, we got Bravo Zulu group. They're parachuting in with the 20x40 American flag for the
I
anthem.
can't wait. For everyone watching, I will be going live on Instagram for that. Thank you.
Yeah, and you'll get to hear my daughter singing in the background. So I mean,
Oh,
it's dual
it
purpose.
mhm.
But yeah, man, it's and it's those pieces that the Lorries with Tree of Valor that reached out, that I didn't know about her,
Mhm.
and she reached out. We got Denver Rescue Ranch. They're coming in. We've got or Colorado Rescue. I don't remember, something like that. But we've got like Steel Pig Forge. He was military, and he was on Forged in Fire. He wanted to be a part of this. He's actually raffling off like $1,000 knife. Um, Deuce Outfitters, they're giving away a hunt to a veteran. Wheels for Warriors is giving away a motorcycle to a veteran. There's just so many pieces that are happening through this whole thing. You better be there next year.
Next year. We still got time. What do we
right?
got? 20, what do you say, 26 days?
23 days.
I was gonna say 23. Damn it. I was like, I'm gonna go safe with 26.
Right?
Yeah, hey, you still
Hey,
got plenty of time. Hey,
right?
don't sleep on it. Like, oh man, I hope everything does well this year. I'm gonna be on it for next year. Go
Yeah.
there this year. It's gonna be hot. You know there's gonna be bugs. It's gonna be sweaty. Relax. There's gonna be bourbon
Yep.
there. We're good.
Yep. Yeah, we got Soldier Valley coming in with their bourbon. One of my sponsors, Unanimous, is going to be out there talking about what they do with marketing and media.
Hmm.
Um, Langfeld Overhead Doors is one of my sponsors. Got Barry Law coming out. They help with getting your ratings up if you're a veteran and you feel like or you have a reason why you need more, for your rating or whatever. They'll help you get that. Um, we've got 88 Tactical, which is a group out of Omaha that does like concealed carry courses, and they got range time, and they do Brazilian jiu-jitsu and all kinds of stuff up there. Mannheim Auto Auction, they're going to be there. They're sponsoring the cornhole tournament. Um, and I know I'm forgetting one. Western Potatoes, Troy Sorensen with Deuce. He actually came in as our platinum sponsor this year. And then we have John Henry's, Plumbing and Heating and Air out of Lincoln. They're one of my main sponsors this year. So we got some really cool stuff, man. A lot of great companies coming in, a lot of great nonprofits coming in. Well, you don't want to go to Alabama anyway.
Yeah, Alabama's corny. You can go to Nebraska.
um, but yeah, man, I'm super excited for everybody to come in, see what we're doing, and future plans. We've already looked at South Haven, Michigan, as a possibility for next year.
I'll be there.
We're Yeah, that'll be a great one, man. That's the venue up there is incredible.
I
We're
already
looking
broke it
at
down. I already broke it down to everyone. I said, wherever it is, I will be there. And then I told you.
well,
So I was like, you were the last one to know.
right. Well, and then we got Nashville that we're scouting in September. We've got Rolla, Missouri with Operation Encore and Two Drunk Dudes in a Gun Room. It's going to be a fundraiser for HeroStock and Operation Encore. October 7th, the Dad's Man Cave out of Beatrice is actually putting on a fundraiser for HeroStock in Milligan, Nebraska. Um, and then we're looking at Harlan County Reservoir. We may actually be doing a big party out at the second biggest lake in the state of Nebraska, which really doesn't equal to a whole lot, but it's a really cool lake, a really cool venue. So that's another one that we're looking at for next year. So we're
So
we're looking at doing possibly 5,
should I buy a meth camper then? It sounds
maybe.
like I'll be on the road a little bit.
Right? Well, yeah, we got to take this. I'm going to drop it the 5K.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So
There's a possibility of a 5K thing coming along with HeroStock too.
yes, it's going to be the Every Second Counts 5K race series. It's going to be dedicated for Gold Star families in that area where Hero Stock is holding a venue. We'll be holding a 5K for certain families in the area and setting up donations for those families, just strictly for those families that were Gold Star families, families for people that didn't make it home, and people that didn't make it home once they were home. So there's going to be 3 separate race, and I'll figure out the vernacular on how I'm going to explain it further on. But it's going to be 3 separate race entities set up, and we're going to be going with Hero Stock, and it's going to be part of the Sit Rep 22 package whenever that comes down, and we start doing things. But me and Jason were talking about it, and Matt, and this is something that I think you never give back to the veteran family. If a veteran commits suicide, the family don't get anything. Veteran don't come back from overseas. They don't, or gets killed. They don't really get much.
Right.
You lose somebody. Money doesn't replace anything. You know what I mean? And then
Right.
the Gold Star families, you're a Gold Star family forever after that point. But that you need to celebrate each moment of these warriors' lives, and that's why I want to set up this race series. So we'll be able to set it up donate to the families and give back however we can because there was a loss somewhere. So
Yep. And it's a great way to keep their name alive, right? The only time that
absolutely,
one of our warriors dies is when we don't say their name. So, it's a great way of keeping their name alive too, and their memories. We
well
got
with five,
Betsy in. She's ready to roll.
hey, last year I was running ultra marathons. 5K seem real nice right now on these knees. So
Right.
and the
Exactly.
5Ks, when we'll roll it out, a lot of people when they hear this, when the 5Ks come out, it will either be a ruck walk or run. So and then there's more details in there, but it's going to be part of the Hero Stock series, and I'm very proud to be with Jason and be able to bring it out because the more veterans involved, more families of veterans are involved, the better the community gets, the bigger. Because if you
Yep.
dealt with it, I guarantee I dealt with it, and we feel different about it. So it's
Right.
always easier way to have that conversation because you're in the know. If you
Yep.
it's like when I was on recruiting duty forever, when, if you had a recruiter and you had another recruiter, you wanted the wives to talk because
Right.
they're now, they're in the shit show together. So
Yep.
so it's always easier when you're involved because then your eyes up and you're most focused and paying attention. So I
Most
think I
definitely.
think, I wasn't expecting that. You shot me out of a cannon right there, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
I
Sounds like
figured
more
I'd just go
fun
ahead
th
and drop it.
Yeah, should I have a speech prepared for Hero Stock? You can be like, "Hey, go out there and talk on the mic."
You never know. You never know. It depends on how much I drink.
He's in the porta john. I don't know where he went. He's been
Right.
sleeping in the back. He was on a stool. I don't know. Now,
That's awesome.
I know you're a busy man. For all those that will be listening when I drop this tomorrow, but if you're catching it live, Mr. Big Papa Pump, Jason Steiner's parked in a parking lot right now. So he
Yep.
took time out of his busy schedule to join me, so I appreciate that.
Definitely.
So I don't want to take too much of his time, but I appreciate him coming on, and I want to give you, Jason, whatever you need to drop whatever you can for everyone about Hero Stock and things that they need to know.
September 9th, Round the Bend Steakhouse in Ashland, Nebraska. Um, come out. Come out and see what we're doing. That's all I ask. I don't care if you stay 5 minutes or if you stay the whole freaking time. Come out and see what we're doing. Be a part of it. Be a piece of something that's going to change the veteran world and grow the veteran world, the first responder world, the Gold Star family world. We've got some crazy exhibits. We've got free cornhole. Everything is 100% free except for your food and alcohol. So you can literally come out and hang out with us for 8 hours, 9 hours, and may get to see a couple special guests roll in. You'll get to see Scotty Hastings. You'll get to see Tom himself in the flesh.
Oh, snap.
Um, well, hopefully not naked, but in the flesh. Um,
I'm looking
but
for sponsors. You never know.
right, right, exactly, exactly. Come out and be a part of it. That's the best thing I can say is come out and be a part of it. And if you're listening and you're watching, share it. Share the information about it. Get HeroStock 2023 and HeroStock page and HeroStock.org out there. We have some really cool stuff, some really cool apparel that you can buy off of our website. If you feel like donating money, you can always hit the donate money or donate button and shoot us a couple bucks here and there. That's awesome too. Um, but I want you guys to be a part of it. I want everybody to be a part of it and see what we're doing and actually touch, smell, and feel it. And give the big hugs and the high fives. And at the end of the day, contact care and listen.
Oh, snap. You see? Out of a
Yeah.
cannon again. Man, I appreciate that. You just dropped a ton of knowledge, and I think the biggest thing that I got from all of that was the last part of spreading the word because it's not everyone's going to dance to the same music. So, but if
Right.
you know a veteran, just shoot it out and maybe say, "Hey, I listen to this podcast," or you know, Big Papa Pump, Jason Steiner's been on every podcast in the veteran world, and it's only getting bigger, and all these things going on. Share it. Not it
Yep.
share my stuff, share everyone's stuff, and the more you get out there, Jason is a great example of utilizing his Facebook platform of sharing everything. And a lot of
Yep.
people are do the same thing. It's the only way you're going to be able to intermingle, and we have that availability now. So
Right.
utilize the communication we can now to attract as many veterans as we can together and save as many lives as we can.
Yep. 100%. 100%.
So make sure you find yourself September 9th, Ashland, Nebraska. Be there. Support HeroStock. Every Second Counts podcast. I'm out.